So there was a period of time, let's pause here as I'm rewatching it in-house, that I'm reflecting upon the way people conceptualize vision in League of Legends that I think ought change. Whenever people say the reason you should buy wards, they say you want to keep track of where the enemy jungler is, you don't want to get ganked, you want to see where the mid lane's roaming. They speak about vision as if it's only a defensive thing. And I think that's wrong. I think that is straight up wrong. I think it's a problem because people who don't like building tank stats or people who want to be that playmaker, in their mind, defensive things are of a lower priority than more damage or more offensive capability or the Zonias that'll keep you alive, because in your head, sure, I could have a Warden's Mail here, but if I actually had an Abyssal Scepter instead of this Banshee's Veil, I would be able to kill them, and that would snowball the game for us, right? Conceptualize offensive things as more valuable. And I think reaching that kind of player is important for that kind of player improving their skill. And I think a way to do that is by conceptualizing vision as an offensive thing. Now, why should that be the case? I want to talk about engages, because what is an engage? An engage is the ability to start a fight. Plain and simple. But not just start a fight, start a good fight, because anyone can just walk into the enemy team and like a fight will start. And that's not an engage, even though it made a fight happen. So an engage is something that makes a good fight happen. So I think three key parts of this is the initial pick, like CC, mobility, and vision. The CC, to lock someone down, to say, this is the person being picked, we are catching them, like, it is the net that you throw over someone to, like, hold them down, or whatever. Whatever metaphor works for you, the CC is a key part of the engage. Be it an Elise Cocoon making a pick, or a Malphite ult, like, on a team fight. Both are the same. Then there's mobility. Can the rest of the team catch up to the engage? If the Malphite ults the team, but the rest of the team can't follow up, then that's not a good engage. I wouldn't call that engaging, I would call that suiciding if the rest of your team doesn't have the mobility to catch up to you, right? So mobility is a key part of good engages, the rest of your team to catch up to you, but also your ability to get to the spot where the pick should be. So say the enemy team stacks up as 5 and you're Malphite and you want to ult them, but you're not in range to. Well, that's because you weren't in the right place. That opportunity presented itself, but you couldn't pick up because your mobility was poor in either your champion's move speed or your mobility on the map. Are you in the right place? Because if you're hitting Gromp while they're sieging your turret, then you can't get a good engage off. So being in the right place, both at a mobility and on the map sense, and in the game sense. The third one is vision. Why is vision a key part of a good engage? It's the ability to see a good fight happening. For example, this would be perfect if Red Team knew I was here, or knew Rumble was TPing very quickly, but because they don't, we're able to pick off Nautilus, pick off Olaf, and sure, I die on the bottom because of Ahri, but it becomes I think a 2 for 5, because they didn't have the vision to be sure the engage they were picking up was a good one, right? If you can't see the enemy team, then you can't engage on them. It's really simple. If you're the engaged team, you want to have like a Sightstone on your jungler. You want to have a Sightstone on your support. You want to be them roaming around the map, putting wards down, because then at every point in time, you can identify potential picks. It allows your map movement to be responsive and aggressive. If you don't know where the enemy team is, if the whole bot side of the jungle is dark and you're positioning for a Baron fight, there is no way you're going to be able to put your team, like get your team to posture aggressively, for them to be in a position to follow up on a good Malphite ult, because you can't identify that outcome, right? So Sightstone allows you to engage. Vision is an engaged jewel, it's an aggressive jewel. Now why is that important? Not only for people to whom their hierarchy of preferences puts offensive things above defensive things. Like that person, why aren't you building tanky? You're going to this team fight and you're dying. I think that kind of person, why should they build Sightstone in the jungle instead of even like a more defensive counterpart, like a Kindle Gem? In their eyes, like get a Kindle Gem because you have more combat stats and you can fight better, and buy a Vision Ward too because wards are good, right? That kind of person will pick up a Sightstone and will allow that kind of engage to happen. But also, people who are playing aggressive comps. I think people who are playing this aggressive engage style comp, the urge is to have damage, to be able to jump into these team fights and kill them. But then they don't have the vision aspect. They don't have that keystone piece that allows them to actually execute. I think everyone knows that against an engage comp, Sightstone is a must, because you need to be able to see them to avoid their engage, right? But it also means you're able to see when the engaged team can't follow up, and then make a fight of your own happen. And I think it's an aggressive tool on the flip side of the equation too. But because I don't think many people see a Sightstone as an aggressive item, they lose out on the opportunity, and so they're no longer able to make the kind of thing happen. So I was doing analysis for this in-house, which I'll post, but it occurred to me that that's, I think, a prime takeaway here, is if you're wondering why you can't climb, either as a jungler or a support, or someone who is debating whether to pick up a vision ward and a sight ward instead of, I don't know, a cloth armor and like a vision ward or a sight ward. I think being able to understand vision in this way is super important. A bit rambly, but I'm a bit out of practice on this kind of thing, but I hope it came across, and I hope people are helped by this. Yeah. I don't really have an outro, but learn, win. Okay, see ya.